Trump accuser E. Jean Carroll took the stand once again today in her civil trial against the former president over an alleged rape back in the 1990s. CNN's Kara Scannell is just outside the courthouse for us. Kara, Trump's attorney renewed his aggressive cross-examination of Carroll. Walk us through what happened.
Yeah, Wolf, that's right. So Carroll was on the stand for 13 hours over 3 days. And today was another day of cross-examination where Trump's attorney, Joe Tacopina, was really narrowing in on an effort to undercut her credibility. In one area, he brought up an episode of Law & Order from 2012. That was 7 years before she went public with her allegations. And in that episode, there was a brief mention of someone about a rape in the Bergdorf Goodman dressing room. That's exactly the allegation that Carroll has made. And Trump's attorney said to her, coincidence? She said, astonishing. And then when her attorneys were able to question her again on redirect, they asked her if she had ever seen the episode, if she was aware of it before she wrote her book. She said she wasn't. And then her lawyer asked her directly, are you making up your accusation based upon what happened in a popular TV show? No, Carroll testified. They also sought to get at, some of her actions that followed this alleged rape in the 90s, trying to zero in on why she didn't seem traumatized after it. So they pointed out that she had gone shopping at Bergdorf Goodman's more than 20 times in the past decade, spending tens of thousands of dollars at the store. They also had her acknowledge that she was a big fan of The Apprentice, the reality television show that featured Donald Trump. And they pointed out a post that she had on Facebook where she made a joke asking, would you have sex with Donald Trump for $17,000. Now, Carroll acknowledged that she had some dark humor in that, but they were really trying to zero in on her credibility. Another area they focused on why she never went to the police. They got her to acknowledge on the stand that she had told so many of the writers who wrote into her Ask E. Jean advice column that if they were attacked, they should go to the police and report it. She said she never did. She said that the only time she ever went to the police was to report a vandalized mailbox. And one of her reasons, she told the jury, was that she was of a generation where women were told to put their chins up and take our licks. Now, next on the stand, according to a source familiar with the trial, will be Lisa Birnbach. She is one of the close friends that Carroll confided in immediately after she left Bergdorf Goodman. She'll be followed by Jessica Leeds. She is a woman who has alleged that Trump assaulted her on an airplane back in 1979. Trump has denied that assault. Wolf.
Kara Scannell in New York for us. Thank you very much. Let's discuss this and more with our senior legal analyst, Laura Coates, and civil rights attorney, Nancy Erica Smith. Laura, Trump's lawyers, you just heard, grilled E. Jean Carroll on why she didn't report the incident, why she kept shopping at Bergdorf Goodman, even asking her about that old Law & Order episode. You think that's an effective tactic?
Well, oddly enough, people who are jurors are caught between really the Me Too era and also a notion where we have as a society doubted those who reported later than the actual time frame when they were actually accusing the person of doing so. These delayed reporting can sometimes act against the interests of the person bringing the case. It's a civil matter, of course, and so there is this dynamic at play socially. But the tactic that Tacopina took to be aggressive in the cross-examination really exemplifies why it's so extraordinary to try to defend and go at an accuser in this way, because it is a very, very thin line where jurors view it as effective representation and also just bullying. In fact, though, he tried to attack, as Kara talked about, the credibility, where it's where you want to go here. Because remember, in part, this is about defamation, which requires that you be less in the eyes, reputation-wise, of the public than you were prior to the statements being made. And so he has to attack that notion. One of his final questions was to reference a podcast where he asked her, how has your life been? And I'm paraphrasing, now that you have reported the information, to which she says something akin of fabulous, a lot of, positivity in my life and beyond. And so he's trying to juxtapose, trying to insert this seed of doubt that says the reason she did so was to garner favor, to curry favor from people in the court of public opinion. It's a very, though, dicey proposition when you've got nothing to actually counter in the form of Trump testimony.
Nancy, as someone who's represented women in sexual assault and harassment cases, what do you make of that aggressive questioning?
I think it's a primer on why women don't report rape at all. It's the most underreported crime all around the world of any kind of crime. And this is why. There are many ways to react to trauma. We are all familiar with veterans who don't want to talk about what happened to them, even though our culture lionizes their sacrifice. And still, they don't want to talk about it. There's an article in the New York Times today about a man first talking about his trauma in World War II at the age of 99. So either women are acting too upset and too aggrieved, or they're not acting enough aggrieved. This is a woman who tried to get on with her life in a positive way. And to claim that she wasn't upset enough because she tried to create a persona, which certainly in her generation, she's 79 years old, was even more expected of women because we weren't allowed to talk about these things. I think the most important thing she has said is, I was sick of staying silent. And that's exactly what Me Too is about. It's about all over the world, women have been silenced about sexual assault and sexual abuse, and we're all tired of it. And it's so brave of her to come forward knowing that this is what's going to happen, that Trump's lawyer is going to abuse her for hours and hours and hours and nitpick when he probably won't even get on the witness stand.
Nancy, Erica Smith, Laura Coates, thanks to both of you very much for joining us.